The headlines. President Tinubu appeals to Nigerians to shelve planned nationwide protest. Labour plans talks with state government as National Assembly okays 70,000 naira minimum wage. Nigerian troops burst criminal syndicate, apprehend 10, recover arms, ammunition in Taraba. And on the foreign Sierra Leone court finds 11 persons guilty in alleged coup. Hello, welcome to News Update on Trust TV. My name is Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. President Bola Tinubu has appealed to Nigerians, especially those planning to roll out protests in the following days, to shelve those plans in the country's interest. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris shared the president's plea with newsmen at State House Abuja after meeting with him in his office on Tuesday. Kende Amodu reports.
The uppermost topic on the lips of most Nigerians has been the hunger in the land and how prices of things they used to take for granted have skyrocketed. Security agencies initially did not pay heed to the murmurings in the background, hoping that by ignoring them or downplaying them, the plans of a protest will go away. Now the highest office in the land is acknowledging that indeed some people are planning protests.
Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
It is ironic how the planning of the protests is being zeroed down to young people. They are being assured that the president is taking their views seriously. The minister is going one step further to reveal plans that the president has for the country, which he says will be executed expeditiously.
The federal government approved grains for and rice for state governments. It was delivered to them expeditiously also. The federal government is not, like I said that the other time, that it is not the necessary first step. Government is going to continue in that direction, supporting them and ensuring that whatever intervention that the federal government has put in place go to those that should benefit. It is very important that that is being put out. Federal government is looking at strategies to ensure that every intervention goes directly to those who benefit from those interventions, not middlemen.
The whole idea being pushed by the government spokesman is that the Tinubu government is all-inclusive and no one will be left behind. It remains to be seen if the planners of the protest will be convinced that this inclusiveness will benefit all classes of Nigerians. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Moving on, labor unions in the country say they will schedule meetings with state governments as part of efforts to ensure that they comply with the 2024 National Minimum Wage Amendment Act bill, which on Tuesday empowered Nigerian workers to earn at least 70,000 naira on a monthly basis. The Senate on Tuesday at plenary passed the 2024 National Minimum Wage Amendment Act bill after President Bola Tinubu had transmitted the new wage bill to both chambers of the National Assembly, seeking expeditious support of the lawmakers for its passage. The Senate and House of Representatives passed the new minimum wage bill. The new bill replaces the National Minimum Wage Act No. 8, 2019, which approved 30,000 naira minimum wage with 5 years to negotiate a new wage. The new wage review period has now been reduced to 3 years following Tuesday's legislation. The House of Representatives has called for the suspension of the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority, pending a thorough investigation into allegations against the authority. This decision followed a motion of urgent public importance presented by Esosa Iyawe, who expressed concern about the impact of high sulfur content in fuels on engine hardware and the environment. Yahweh highlighted the risks associated with sulfur, including damage to engines, air pollution, and negative health effects such as respiratory problems and cancer. He noted that governments worldwide have established standards to reduce sulfur emission, and diesel producers are expected to adhere to these regulations.
Mr. Speaker, the House is concerned that allegations have been made by NMDPRA were giving licenses to some traders who regularly import high sulfur content diesel into Nigeria, and the use of such products poses grave health risk to financial loss to Nigerians. The House is also concerned that the unguarded statement by the Chief Executive of this agency, which has since been disapproved, sparks an outrage from Nigerians who tagged his undemnely and local refineries as insistence on the continued importation of fuel, an act of economic sabotage, as the imported products have been shown to contain high levels of dangerous compounds. Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to call the federal government to suspend the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority pending conclusive investigations into the allegations against the authority.
In the same vein, the House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, and distribution companies to immediately revert to the old electricity tariff for Band A customers following the adoption of a report by the House Committee on Power. The House recommended the reversal of the recent tariff hike, citing the unaffordability of the new rates for Nigerians. The Committee on Power's Chairman, Victor Nwokolo, presented the report, highlighting the unaffordability of the new tariff for Nigerians.
The report has been fully widely circulated among members. The findings of the joint committees is that the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission should reverse to the status quo as earlier contained in the motion of the House when it was considered, and that within 60 days they should comply with the provisions of Section 116 2D 3B of the Electricity Act. That an independent team of experts to be contracted by joint committees to carry out forensic investigation of what should be the actual cost of electricity tariff. 3, that all electricity distribution companies should reverse to the old tariff pending the resolution of the matter by the House.
Troops of Headquarters 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke in conjunction with other security agencies have dismantled a criminal syndicate, apprehended 10 suspects, and recovered an AK-47 rifle and 33 rounds of ammunition in multiple operations. Captain Oni Olobodunde, the Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, revealed this in a press statement in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital. He said that the operations, which were conducted with precision and professionalism, took place in the early hours of 22nd of July 2024 at Gallery Kondo villages of Ardo, Kola and Bali local government areas after a tip-off from credible sources. The swift and coordinated response of the 6th Brigade troops led to the successful arrest of 2 suspects named Ali Ibrahim aka Yellow and Weti Elaji Ibrahim. He said items recovered from the suspects include an AK-47 rifle and 3 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition. According to Captain Olobodunde, the suspects confessed to have worked with a known terrorist leader named Kadogo, who operates around Bangalala and Kampani Zurak in Plateau State. After many years of wearing the toga of invincibility, the overall head of the Mushin Lagos drug cartel, 57-year-old Alhaji Suleiman Jimo, popularly known as Timo, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at his enclave after an initial resistance from him and his horde of hoodlums. In the last 2 years, NDLEA had intercepted large consignment of illicit drugs worth billions of naira owned by Timo. but has remained largely evasive, while a few encounters with him and his army gangs in Mushi, his enclave, had resulted in gunfights. Some of the recent seizures of his shipments include a 14,524.8 kilograms of Ghana loud, a strong strain of cannabis sativa, smuggled into Lagos from Ghana in 2 trucks, and a J5 bus intercepted at the Ojuelegba area of Lagos in the early hours of Sunday, 28 January 2024, amongst others. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, commended the officers and men of the Lagos State Command, Special Monitoring Task Force, and other formation tasked with the assignment of getting Tinubu arrested for their resilience, vigilance, and professionalism. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the approval of 150,000 naira grant each for business owners in Jigawa State. This was revealed in a press release by the State House Abuja and shared by Vice President Kashim Shettima on his official X handle on Tuesday. According to the release, Shettima, while speaking at the launch of the AI Expertise Blockchain and Technology Training and Outsourcing Initiative in Dutse, said the grant was part of Nigeria's strategy for digital transformation in leadership in Africa. Shettima said that Nigeria was not just catching up with the rest of the world, but is poised to overtake them in terms of economy and technology. He noted that the 150,000 naira grant is an outright grant that does not require beneficiaries to repay. President Bola Tinubu has assented the Northwest and Southeast Development Commission bills into law, thereby setting stage for the establishment of the 2 intervention agencies to address development challenges in the Northwest and Southeast part of the country, respectively, following years of insecurity. Deputy President of the Senate and sponsor of the Northwest Development Commission bill, Senator Jibrin Baro, disclosed that the President assent to the bill during a chat with journalists in Abuja on Tuesday night. The report.
Expressing his happiness on the presidential assent to the bill, the Deputy President of the Senate in a media chat with journalists said the commission, when established, would help to drive development across the 7 states in the Northwest Zone.
This is something that, in fact, today is one of the happiest days of my life. Because I sponsored the bill, and it has been we've been praying that this commission should be established so as to help in developing the Northwest geopolitical zone. We are all aware of the importance of the zone to this country because it is a zone that is in the forefront in the production of food for the teeming population of this country.
The Deputy Senate President Barrow has commended President Tinubu for assenting the Northwest Development Commission bill, which is now an act of the National Assembly.
It's a testimony, it's a demonstration that he's a leader to trust. He's a leader that has love of his people in his heart. What we need to do is to be patient. Rome was not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. For someone to do this, you know that person has a leader, the president of the country, to look at the plight of his people.
Similarly, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Okezi Kalu, has expressed what he called an extravagant gratitude to the President Bola Tinubu for signing the Southeast Development Commission (SEDC) bill into law, thereby approving the creation of the Interventionist Commission. It will be recalled that the bill was sponsored by Kalu and all the lawmakers from the Southeast region in the House of Representatives. The bill sought to establish a commission that will be charged with the responsibility to receive and manage funds from allocation of the Federation account for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of roads, houses, and other infrastructural damage suffered by the region as a result of the effects of the civil war after 54 years. The commission will as well tackle the ecological problems and any other environmental or developmental challenges in the Southeast states states, which include Abia, Imo, Enugu, Anambra, and Ebonyi states.
This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. We're going on a break. More news when we return. To stay. You are welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Now let's take a look at our headline stories again. President Tinubu appeals to Nigerians to shelve planned nationwide protest. Labour plans talks with state government as National Assembly okays 70,000 naira minimum wage. And moving on, the Senate on Tuesday passed for the first, second, and third reading a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national wage from 5 years to 3 years, and for related matters 2024. Our Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings us the details.
The executive bill, which enjoyed an accelerated passage at the resumption of Senate plenary on Tuesday, followed a letter from President Bola Tinubu, who appealed for its swift passage to enable the federal government fulfill its own side of the bargain to Nigerians and the organized labor to increase the minimum wage from the current 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira.
For consideration and passage by the Senate. The bill is to prescribe a national minimum wage and also provide a legal framework for a seamless review of the national minimum wage and for other purposes connected therewith.
On the heels of another letter from the President, the Senate passed the Police Act Amendment Bill, seeking to enable a person appointed to the Office of Inspector General of Police to remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment. The bill also seeks to increase the retirement age of police officers from 60 to 65 years and their tenure of service from 35 to 40 years. Though the bill enjoyed accelerated passage for its first, second, and third reading like the minimum wage bill, some senators raised concerns on the necessity of the bill.
The bill aims to revolutionize police operation by enhancing accountability, modernizing policing methods, and fostering a more harmonious relationship between the police and the community.
Until people given appointments perform satisfactorily, when we simply give them the opportunity to serve as far as the tenure in the letter indicates, I think that will be abused because somebody will feel he will not be removed, regardless.
I know, Mr. President, Senate President, you have observed rightly too, that within this period, nothing stops the president from firing. But that leads us back to where we are coming from.
The lawmakers, still on Tuesday's plenary, passed for third reading a bill seeking to amend the 2024 Appropriations Act, increasing the total budget by 6.2 trillion naira from an initial total of 28.7 trillion to 35.055 trillion naira. The bill was passed following the presentation of a report by the chairman, Committee of Appropriations, Senator Adiola Olamilekan.
The committee observed as follows: the need to provide for the government equity component of the Renewed Hope infrastructural project and other critical projects to be undertaken across the country, and other recurrent expenditure requirements like the provision for new minimum wage, among others, which necessitated the request for the amendment of 2024 Appropriation Act.
Upon consideration of all 13 clauses by the Committee on Supply, the Senate passed the bill for third reading. Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio tendered an apology to Senator Natasha Akpoti, representing Kogi Central, for describing her conduct during plenary as one obtainable in nightclubs.
I made reference to the fact that we are not in a nightclub where people have to shout above the noise of the music. The communication was totally misunderstood. I will not intentionally denigrate any woman. The same Senator Natasha, I want to apologize to you.
The Senate President added that he would never intentionally show negative bias towards women. Hence, his comment was quoted out of context. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now moving on, the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Education, has announced a slash in allowances of foreign scholars who are currently stranded in Russia, Morocco and Algeria, among others, by 12.7%. The ministry attributed the development to economic crisis. Nigerian students studying in Russia, Morocco, Algeria, China, Hungary and other countries on the federal government's scholarship had lamented their unpaid stipends for 8 months running. The students are studying under the federal government's bilateral educational agreement scholarship. The BEA scholarship is for the purpose of education exchange between Nigeria and the partnering countries. The president of Dangote Industrial Limited, Aliko Dangote, has been invited by President Brice Nguema of Gabon to invest in cement and fertilizer production in the country. According to a statement on Tuesday by the media office of Dangote Group, the billionaire was invited to explore investment opportunities in cement and fertilizer at a time the Nigerian government is accusing him of plans to monopolize the oil sector in the country. According to the statement, Dangote had talks with Nguema and other top government officials during the visit. Dangote had underscored his company's dedication to fostering economic development in the continent. He emphasized that investing in Gabon's cement and fertilizer sector aligns with Dangote Industries' strategic vision for expanding its footprint and supporting sustainable development across Africa. Dangote Group said the visit signifies a significant step towards deepening economic ties between Nigeria and Gabon. And to the foreign scene, a Sierra Leone court has found 11 people guilty of treason and other offenses following what authorities have called an attempted coup, with their leader sentenced to almost 200 years in prison. The judiciary spokesperson Moses Lami Kamara, the man accused of leading the attack, Amadou Kaita Makalo, was sentenced on Monday to 182 years in prison on charges of treason, murder, and shooting with intent to murder. Authorities at the time said they arrested around 80 suspects and a dozen were charged in January, including former President Ernest Bai Koroma, who later granted medical leave. In November, dozens of gunmen broke into the country's armory and into a prison where the majority of the more than 2,000 inmates were freed. The clashes left 18 security forces dead. Vice President Kamala Harris has opened up a marginal 2 percentage point lead over Republican Donald Trump after President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign and passed the torch to her. That compares with the marginal 2-point deficit Biden faced against Trump in last week's polls before his Sunday exit from the race. The new poll conducted on Monday and Tuesday followed both the Republican National Convention, where Trump on Thursday formally accepted the nomination, and Biden's announcement on Sunday he was leaving the race and endorsing Harris. Harris, whose campaign says she had secured the Democratic nomination, led Trump 44% to 42% in the national poll, a difference within the 3 percentage points margin of error. Following the expiration of his Turkey contract, Nigerian midfielder Anthony Uzodinma is set to switch to a Ukrainian club. The lanky midfielder played for Kayserispor last season, but he was unable to stamp his authority in the team. The Turkish club decided not to extend his deal as he had departed the club since the season ended. His representative has opened a discussion with the Ukrainian club Karpaty Lviv, and it had reached an advancement stage. The Nigerian international is expected to join the team immediately for pre-season if the deal materializes. Still in sport, ex-Aqua United and Sporting Lagos assistant Edward Green has joined Rivers United as the club's assistant coach. Green is one of the very few holders of UEFA C license in Nigeria and is currently preparing to enroll for the UEFA B license. While in charge of Sporting Lagos in the MPFL, the team played arguably the best brand of football in the country. Well, with that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media handles for more news, more programs, and more documentaries. Thanks for watching. My name is Lilian Ogazi.